In this video, we're going to answer two questions. First, what is the unit rate? And second, what is the equation that represents this table? Today, we're going to be working with tables. So I'm going to start by labeling the x variable and the y variable. These are the x values, all of the values in the top row, and I'm actually going to label each of them. I'm also going to label all of the y values in the bottom row. And then, just like we did with the graph, we're going to choose a point. You can choose any of the points. And then I'm going to label it like I did when we chose a point from the graph. So I write 110, the 1 is x, and the 10 is y. You can see that because I've already labeled it. And then I'm going to grab the typing tool, and I'm going to follow the 1 back to the beginning, and it says tickets. So this 1 represents tickets, so 1 ticket. And then I follow this 10 back to the beginning, and it says dollars, so 10 is dollars, so $10. Then I'm going to go back to my scribble tool, go over to the unit rate formula, and I'm going to just start filling it in. And remember, I want you to pair the word per with the fraction bar. Then I'll grab a different color, and then I'm going to fill in the y variable first. And the y in this coordinate is $10. So I go to my typing tool and I type $10. And then I'm going to go ahead and figure out what the x value is. And the x value is 1 ticket. And I'll type that in the denominator. And then I just want to take a moment here to remind you, I guess I'll type it, that when the x value is 1, the y value is the unit rate. So this point is special. This is true in this example. The x value is 1. And when the x value is 1, the y value is the unit rate. So the unit rate here is 10. You could also figure that out by just dividing. To find the unit rate, you divide. 10 divided by 1 is 10. But I wanted to point out the fact that this is a special point. When x is 1, it's special because the y is the unit rate. We've talked a lot about rates versus unit rates. The difference between a rate and a unit rate is that in a unit rate, the denominator is 1. So it's simplified. It's the amount per one of something. So in this case, it's the dollars per one ticket. Now we're going to go ahead and fill this in down below. Let's see if I can, okay. There was a comment there blocking it. All right, what is the unit rate? The unit rate is 10, and it is dollars per ticket. So the D here stands for dollars, the P stands for per, and the T stands for the ticket. So $10 per one ticket. So one ticket costs $10. And then we're going to write the equation. So a proportional equation looks like this. Y equals kx. And we found the unit rate to be 10. K represents the unit rate, so I can actually take out the K and fill in the 10. And down here, I'll type it. Y equals, instead of K, we write 10, and then there's an X on the end. So the equation is Y equals 10x. That equation represents this table. And then the last thing that I wanted to do is show you that it wouldn't have mattered which point you chose. For example, let's say that we write this unit rate formula again. K equals Y divided by X. And we fill in instead this point. So the Y is 80, and the X is 8, and we get 10, just the same. What if instead I took this unit rate formula and I used the point 12, 120? Now this is where you need to be careful, because remember when I talked about in the last video that the formula is opposite of a horizontal table, so it's x and then y, and down here it's y and then x. So what's in the bottom here actually goes in the top in the formula. And then the x value is 12, so for x I write 12, and 120 divided by 12 is also 10. This goes back to what we were talking about when we talked about the variable k and why we use k to represent unit rate. In the US, we would spell constant like this. But the word for constant in German is spelled like this. So we use the letter K because of the word constant in German. And the idea is that the unit rate is always the same. That's why it's a proportional relationship. And it doesn't matter which point you choose, because you're always going to find the same unit rate because the unit rate is constant.